During World War II, Japan's Unit 731 in Harbin secretly developed biological weapons using the local population for horrific experiments. Few knew the truth, and evidence was destroyed after the war, but survivors spoke out, revealing Unit 731's atrocities. Its legacy is a warning: science must never be twisted for evil. Unit 731's mission was to weaponize disease. Scientists there cultivated deadly pathogens, plague, cholera, anthrax, on an industrial scale. These germs were intended for bombs and other delivery methods to inflict mass casualties. To test their effectiveness, the unit conducted human experimentation on thousands of prisoners, men, women, and children from across Asia. Victims were stripped of their identities, called maruta, or logs, and subjected to unimaginable suffering. Experiments included infecting prisoners with diseases, exposing them to germ bombs, and observing the results. Vivisection, dissecting people alive without anesthesia, was routine, all in the name of military science. The goal: perfect biological weapons, regardless of human cost. Prisoners were forced to endure frostbite, starvation, and exposure to lethal agents. The data gathered was used to refine Japan's arsenal of germ warfare. The cruelty was systematic, the suffering immense. No one who entered Unit 731 was meant to leave alive. The facility became a factory of death, its victims erased for the sake of war. The horrors committed here remain among the most shocking in human history. Unit 731's legacy is a testament to the dangers of unchecked scientific ambition. The experiments at Unit 731 defied all morality. Prisoners endured amputations, organ removals, and grotesque surgeries, none meant to heal, only to study suffering and death. Frostbite tests left limbs shattered. Pressure chambers and centrifuges pushed bodies to fatal limits. Victims were injected with animal blood, exposed to lethal X-rays, and used as disposable test subjects. The researchers saw their victims as data points, not people. At least 3,000 died inside the facility, but the true toll is far greater. Once a prisoner was too weak for further experiments, they were killed to prevent escape or disease spread. No one was meant to survive. The stories of these individuals are a stark reminder of the depths of cruelty possible when humanity is abandoned. Their suffering was hidden for decades, but their voices now echo as a warning. The lessons from inside Unit 731's walls must never be forgotten. Remembering their pain is essential to preventing such horrors in the future. The truth of Unit 731 emerged through the courage of witnesses like Hideo Shimizu. At 14, Shimizu joined the unit's youth corps, unaware of its true purpose. He worked in the education department, dissecting rats and observing bacteria, believing it was for the empire. But he saw rooms filled with jars of preserved human remains, severed heads, limbs, and even a woman with her unborn child. Prisoners shuffled through the compound, their faces marked by despair. Some scrawled final messages on cell walls with their own blood. Shimizu later suspected he and other youths were unknowingly used as test subjects for vaccines. For decades he kept silent, bound by shame and secrecy. In his old age he broke his silence, traveling to Harbin to apologize for the crimes committed. His testimony is a powerful reminder of the personal cost of silence and complicity. Witnesses like Shimizu help confirm the dark legacy of Unit 731. Their stories ensure the truth cannot be buried. The world must listen, remember, and learn. Unit 731 was just the headquarters of a vast network of secret Japanese biological warfare units across Asia. Branches in Nanjing, Guangzhou, and even Singapore worked together, sharing research and personnel. These units didn't just experiment. They launched biological attacks on Chinese towns, contaminating wells and dropping plague-infected fleas from planes. The result: epidemics that killed hundreds of thousands, devastating entire villages. This was not the work of rogue scientists, but a coordinated military program. Recent evidence, including newly released personnel lists, has revealed the full scale of this operation. The suffering extended far beyond the walls of any single laboratory. The network's reach and impact were enormous, leaving scars across Asia. Understanding this broader system is crucial to grasping the true horror of Japan's biological warfare program. The legacy of these attacks lingers in the memories of survivors and the history of the region. The world must recognize the scale and intent behind these crimes. As World War II ended, Japan rushed to erase the horrors of Unit 731. With the Soviet army advancing, General Shiro Ishii ordered a total cover-up. Remaining prisoners, hundreds of living witnesses, were executed to silence them forever. The facility was dynamited, laboratories and crematoriums reduced to rubble. Documents, research notes, and photographs were incinerated. Staff were sworn to secrecy and scattered across Japan, some given cyanide to avoid capture. When Soviet and Chinese forces arrived, they found only ruins and little direct evidence. This destruction allowed the Japanese government and perpetrators to deny the crimes for decades. The cover-up was so effective that the full story of Unit 731 only emerged much later. The lack of evidence delayed justice and left many questions unanswered. The deliberate erasure of history deepened the wounds of survivors and victims' families. The truth, however, could not remain buried forever. After the war, the leaders of Unit 731 escaped justice. General Ishii and his top scientists were never prosecuted by the United States. Instead, they struck a secret deal. In exchange for their research data, they were granted immunity. The U.S. valued the results of the human experiments for its own biological warfare program. Evidence was withheld from war crimes tribunals, and the world was kept in the dark. The victims and their families were denied justice, while the perpetrators reintegrated into Japanese society. Many became prominent doctors, professors, and business leaders. The decision to trade justice for data remains deeply controversial. It allowed those responsible for unimaginable suffering to live free, their crimes unpunished. The legacy of this deal is a stain on post-war history. It serves as a warning about the dangers of sacrificing ethics for perceived national interest. For decades, Japan's government avoided a full reckoning with Unit 731's crimes. Official acknowledgement was limited, and details of the atrocities were denied or downplayed. Victims' families struggled for recognition and closure, while survivors' voices were often ignored. Unlike Germany's open confrontation with its Nazi past, Japan's silence left wounds unhealed. New evidence, including Soviet trial records and recently released documents, has made denial impossible. The truth is now undeniable. Unit 731 was a state-organized program of biological warfare and human experimentation. The fight for justice and transparency continues, driven by historians and witnesses. Only by facing the past honestly can healing and reconciliation begin. The shadow of Unit 731 still hangs over East Asia, a reminder of the cost of denial. Remembering these crimes is essential to ensuring they are never repeated. The story of Unit 731 is a stark warning about the dangers of science without ethics. Highly educated doctors and scientists use their skills to inflict suffering, not to heal. The pursuit of knowledge or national power must never justify violating human rights. The U.S. decision to grant immunity for data shows the peril of sacrificing justice for advantage. True security cannot be built on moral compromise. Only by confronting the darkest chapters of history can we prevent their repetition. Education and remembrance are vital to building a just world. The victims of Unit 731 were people with hopes and dreams, not logs. Their suffering must be remembered as a call to defend human rights and ethical responsibility. The lesson is clear: never again.